young voters in Ohio came to the polls in historic numbers. The Athens levy passed, what that means for the district. In honor of Veterans Day, one woman reflects on her time in the service. Newswatch starts right now.
Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens, this is Newswatch.
Tonight on Newswatch, we break down what the results mean and the impact they will have on the community. Good evening, I'm Caitlin Coolidge. Thanks for joining us. Voter turnout for this year's midterm in Ohio was the highest it's been in 20 years. That's according to data on the Secretary of State's website. More than 54% of all registered voters in the state cast ballots. That's the highest it's been since 1994. According to the data, the turnout for Athens County was also high, just more than 47%. But despite the better than usual turnout, young people historically don't vote in large numbers in elections. Reporter Abby Grisey shows how this year was different in this age group.
Registering to vote through Snapchat, being pushed to vote on social media, accessing the link to find your polling location on Snap Maps. In this year's election, these efforts through technology and social media, as well as the current political climate, were some of the factors that increased voter turnout, especially in the younger demographic.
Everybody is so encouraging to help you figure out how to get registered, how to do everything so fast and easy.
This is the first time that I've ever felt like people care about voting.
Early estimates from the Center for Information and Research on Civic Learning and Engagement at Tufts University show about 31% of people ages 18 to 29 voted. The usual turnout for voters under 30? Under 20%.
We live in a time where there's a lot of polarization right now, and so it's finally time for the young people, the people that are going to be filling the government seats in the coming years, that they take part now so they have experience later.
Here in Athens County, the polling location where many students vote had a turnout of about 21%. Those same precincts in 2014 had an average turnout of 3.9%.
People are just a lot more willing to put their voice out there and to be the person who makes the change instead of trusting other people to make it for them.
For WOUB, I'm Abby Grisey.
Young voters in Athens County weren't the only ones who had a historic turnout. 51% of registered voters in Meigs came to the polls, as well as 48% in Vinton and 53% in Hocking. Issue 1, a proposed amendment to Ohio's Constitution, failed by a large margin in last week's election. Reporter Ben Schwartz has been following the debate on both sides of the issue. He's live in the newsroom to explain what happened. Ben?
The amendment would have made charges for drug possession and use no more than misdemeanors, no matter what the drug. While the proposed amendment had many supporters, such as Ted Strickland, the former governor of Ohio, as well as a number of Democratic state senators and representatives, Issue 1 was overwhelmingly shut down at the polls. The final numbers show Issue 1 losing with 36.6% of voters' approval, compared to 63.4% voting against the amendment. Many Ohioans' distrust of the issue came from the broadness of its language. Now Governor-elect Mike DeWine has voiced his opposition to allowing all drugs, including fentanyl, which he calls, quote, the same drug that is killing Ohioans every day, to have lowered punishments for possession. The proposed amendment's goal was specifically to help first-time offenders not fall into a cycle of addiction after going to jail for a small offense. Athens City Law Director Lisa Eliason says that first-time offenders would have had almost no penalty under Issue 1.
So let's say that on Issue 1, a first-time drug user or somebody who's found with drugs, they can't go to jail. They can't be sentenced to jail. The judge will say to them, $50 and I want you to go to treatment.
The campaign to pass Issue 1 was led by the Ohio Safe and Healthy Communities campaign. The amendment would have also used money saved from less incarcerations to help fund addiction treatment. Reporting live for Newswatch, I'm Ben Schwartz.
All right, thank you, Ben. Issue 3 passing means Athens City Schools will be getting some new buildings. I sat down with Athens Superintendent Tom Gibbs to find out when to expect these new schools to be built and the steps the school board is taking to ensure the plan stays on track. These buildings will be knocked down and new ones will take their place. However, according to Superintendent Tom Gibbs, construction will not begin until 2020.
Between now and January, we have a lot of paperwork to get ready. The state money won't be available to us for about 12 to 18 months.
The state will pay about $27.5 million, 32% of the total cost of about $86.1 million.
I understand that some folks either felt like they couldn't afford the levy, which I understand. I wish that our system for funding schools was different than what it is. But just appreciate the support that we did receive from our voters.
Gibbs says the cost is worth it. The new schools will have improved security, modern learning environments, more natural lighting, greater energy efficiency, new community spaces like gyms, libraries, and auditoriums, updated technology infrastructure, improved spaces for special education programming, and all new furnishings. Gibbs says he hopes people can come together as a community, regardless of how they voted on the issue, and is grateful the issue passed.
I'm just very ecstatic about the opportunity that we have before us, and very grateful that I live and work in a community that supports and values public education.
For Newswatch, I'm Caitlin Coolidge. Gibbs says an architect will be hired after the school board has a commission meeting with the state in January. Suggestions from the community will be considered during the planning stages of construction. For the fifth time in 3 years, residents in the Alexander School District voted against a school levy. Stephen Hernandez is live with how this levy has changed over the years and why it keeps failing. Stephen.
Thanks, Caitlin. For years, concerned residents have been split on the income tax levy meant to cover the school district's expenses. And now it helps to understand the background of the levy and when one is needed. Now, school districts are funded both on a state and local level in Ohio. But the state revenue for Alexander hasn't changed since 2009, and operating costs have gone up since then. And locally, the district is operating at the $20 million floor. That means the district's tax rates are the lowest they can be by law. So Alexander has been trying to pass their first levy since 1991. That's 27 years. First, there was a 1.5% earned income tax rejected in November 2016 and May 2017. Then the district tried a 1.25% tax, rejected last year's election day. And finally, the 1% tax, which was rejected this May and last week on election day. Now, residents across the school district have gone to Facebook to voice their opinions. There are three major groups, and all of them have been active for as far back as 2016. First, there is the Say Yes to Alexander group, which started August of 2016. The group is in support of the levy for the good of students and staff, making sure that programs remain well funded. Meanwhile, the Say No to Alexander levy group went live on March of 2017. Members of the group are critical of the school board and don't like some of its decisions, like the construction of the Alexander Recreational Center. Opposers to the levy also feel as if there isn't enough communication between the board and residents, let it be in or out of meetings. Finally, there's the Middle Ground for Alexander page, which opened in November last year. According to the group's description, it's a group of parents who are focused on investigating and gathering information across all the Alexander schools. Both of the groups for and against the levy have posted reactions to last week's election and are both looking ahead. In fact, the Vote No page has already been updated to read, Say No to Levy May 2019. So it seems the school levy debate will not be done in Albany anytime soon. Reporting for Newswatch, I'm Stephen Hernandez.
All right, thank you, Stephen. Republicans dominated Ohio state races. Nearly all of the state's officials stayed red, including the governor. Mike DeWine won 51% of the vote over Democrat Richard Cordray, who won 46%. But Cordray received more than 62% of votes in Athens County. Athens was one of the few counties in Ohio who voted for the Democrat candidate. Republican Frank LaRose won the election for Ohio Secretary of State. He won 51% of the vote over Democrat candidate Kathleen Clyde and Libertarian candidate Dustin Nana. LaRose campaigned on making it easier for new businesses to open in Ohio. Republican Dave Yost took 52% of the vote to become the new Attorney General. Yost beat Democrat candidate Steve Dettelbach. Yost formerly worked at the auditor's office where he filed more than 160 cases against people using public money illegally. Republican Keith Faber won his bid for Ohio's Auditor of State with 50% of the vote over Democrat candidate Zach Space and Libertarian Robert Coogan. Faber is a state representative and former senator. During his time in office, he says he wants to decrease state spending. Republican Robert Sprague will be the new state treasurer. He beat Democrat Rob Richardson with 54% of the votes. Sprague says he wants to use the office to fight the opioid epidemic by including private businesses in solutions and programs. Ohio voters also chose representatives for the U.S. House and Senate. Incumbent Steve Stivers will serve another term as a representative for Ohio's 15th district. He won 59% of the vote over Democrat Rick Neal. Incumbent Sherrod Brown was also re-elected to the Senate. He was one of the few Democrats who won in Ohio state elections. Brown took 53% of the vote over Republican Jim Renacci.
Well, the weather story of the day today was cold, rainy, and gloomy, and it is still pretty gloomy out there right now. 39 degrees in Athens, humidity 79% as those rain showers have moved out, and the pressure is at 30.15 and falling as we go all across the area. Now, as we take a look all across the area, we see temperatures in the upper 30s and lower 40s. 41 in Columbus, 40 in Newark, 38 in Cambridge, 39 in New Martinsville. Rain showers scattered all across the area. Pretty much Athens is the only place not seeing any rain right now. But here are the highlights for the next couple of days. A cold spell will remain through the area. We could see some possible snow going into tonight and tomorrow. And as a weekend warm-up is possible. We'll talk all about that coming up in my full forecast in the next couple of minutes. But Caitlin, are you ready to see those snow flurries fly?
Oh, you know, I actually do enjoy some snow. But here in California, they're a different story, fueling the most destructive wildfires in the state's history. Plus, e-cigarette flavors named after cereal and candy. One state is trying to put an end to this marketing. That story coming up.
This is what we've all been waiting for. The postseason is finally here. Many teams that made it this far are ready to rock.
Yeah, it's win or go home for the guys on the gridiron, but Gridiron Glory still has a few more weeks before we end our season.
Yeah, we'll have you covered through week 13, and there's still football to be played until then.
Our social media team will have you covered. Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, and YouTube content will keep you up to date.
So, through all the excitement, remember there's nothing better than Friday nights and Gridiron Glory.
This is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
I'm such a huge fan of PBS. For my entire life, it's been our window into a world of the arts that isn't available anywhere else on TV. We learn about our numbers and our letters and singing through music, through the incredible children's programming they have. And then we grow up and we get to see the world of the arts, whether it's ballet or opera or Broadway, and so many other amazing moments that you wouldn't get anywhere else except for PBS.
I loved Ken Burns' series on the Civil War. It was deeply impacting. I love history. To have those stories told through these letters, through stories of love and loss, it rewrote the book on how to tell a story. When television was invented, there were a lot of people who had dreams about what it could do. I think PBS still aspires for and often succeeds at reaching the highest ideals of what television could be.
The Athens Police Department say they are investigating the death of an Ohio University student. 18-year-old Colin Wyant, a first-year student from Dublin, Ohio, was found unresponsive at a house on Mill Street early this morning. He was pronounced dead after being transported to the hospital. The university has been in contact with Wyatt's family. APD says the investigation is ongoing. The university says it is providing support for students and employees. The most destructive wildfire in California history is showing no signs of slowing down. The fires have already killed more than 30 people. Authorities called in a DNA lab and teams of anthropologists to help identify victims. Officials say strong winds are going to continue to make it a very dangerous situation. So far, the fires have burned more than 200,000 acres across the state and destroyed thousands of homes.
Everything's lost, everything. Business we had built up, it's gone, and it's a little heartfelt, but we're grateful we're together. That's the only thing that counts.
More than 200 people still remain unaccounted for. Public safety officials toured the area to begin discussing recovery processes, but much of what makes the city function is gone. Chicago is taking action against e-cigarette retailers. The city has filed lawsuits to try to stop marketing that is specifically aimed at children. The mayor says the intention of the companies is to hook kids on the products. Last week, the FDA said it would move to ban the sale of most flavored e-cigarettes in gas stations and convenience stores as early as this week. Superhero fans around the world are mourning the death of Marvel Comics visionary Stan Lee. Lee died this morning after being taken to the hospital. He created or helped create a string of iconic characters including Spider-Man, the Hulk, and Thor. The exact cause of death is unknown at this time. Stan Lee was 95 years old. Meet a woman who served in the Army for 20 years and has been a participant in parades for 15. That story still ahead.
And weather-wise, we're seeing rain now, but we could see the possibility of snow tonight going into tomorrow, plus a possible weekend warm-up. We'll talk all about that coming up in my full forecast when Newswatch returns.
Member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at WOUB.org. And thank you.
I love PBS because at the heart of everything PBS does is education.
I use PBS not only in my home, but also in my classroom.
It's kind of the idea of being the great equalizer for learning and for education.
I'm a lifelong learner, and PBS has always been part of that journey for me.
I love PBS because PBS supports teachers.
They know what works for kids and what's best for kids, and that's why I love PBS.
What are you doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse. TV, play Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS, we're with you for life.
PBS had a special on Pearl Harbor, and once Landon started watching the show about the Arizona, he completely became fascinated.
That's Donald Stratton, and that's me.
And then his Christmas wish this year was to meet Donald Stratton, one of the survivors from the Arizona.
So good to see you, buddy.
Everything that Landon has learned from PBS, it's immeasurable.
This is for you.
Thank you, big guy.
He is living proof of the effect that PBS has had on his life.
Welcome back to Newswatch. I'm forecaster Nicholas Snyder. Well, it was pretty chilly out there today. Still pretty chilly out there right now. 39 in Athens. Humidity is at 79% as those rain showers are still moving out of the area. Pressure is at 30.23 inches and falling as a cold front makes its way into the area, and winds are out of the east at 2 miles an hour. All across the area, we're seeing pretty much the same gloomy weather. 41 in Columbus, 40 in Newark, 38 in Cambridge. Rain scattered all across the area as we see here. We're not dealing with any rain. We're pretty much the only city in the viewing area not dealing with any rain. And it's all due to this cold front draped across western Kentucky, Indiana, and northwestern Ohio. That will move east tonight going into tomorrow, but we'll talk about that in a second. First, let's get you through tonight. Chance of rain tonight at 8 p.m., 37 degrees, 38 at 10, 38 at midnight with rain likely, and we see this asterisk right here. That means there is a possibility of some snow showers, especially up north along the I-70 corridor. up towards Zanesville and Newark. So make sure you're prepared for that. If you're going out and about, make sure you're bundled up and bring the rain gear and umbrellas. It's going to be chilly and rainy. So tonight in Athens, 35 degrees, rain likely, again, some possible snow showers for the north. Rain likely after midnight. Winds will be out of the north-northwest at 5 to 10 miles an hour. All across the area, pretty much the same thing. Look at these cold lows. 33 in Columbus, 33 in Newark, 34 in Cambridge. Again, snow possible along the I-70 corridor up in Franklin, Licking, Muskingum, Guernsey, and Belmont counties. Further south of I-70, we're just going to remain all rain. 37 in Ripley, 38 in Ironton. So not going to be quite cold enough for snow down south of I-70. Tomorrow morning, planner mix likely at 8 a.m. That snow is going to move on into the southern portions of the viewing area. By 10 a.m., a chance of snow. That precipitation will move out by noon at 38 degrees, though, as we see later on in the afternoon. 40 degrees tomorrow, AM mix, PM clouds. Winds will be out of the north-northwest at 5 to 10 miles an hour all across the area. Temperatures will be chilly in the lower 40s and upper 30s with possible rain showers and snow showers all across the area, all due to this cold front that's going to move out of the area, but it's going to bring some high pressure in for Wednesday, and that's going to really warm us up for the weekend. Take a look at Saturday into Sunday. 46, 43 on Friday with partly cloudy skies, but watch out for Thursday. Another chance for snow and freezing rain. As we go into Thanksgiving, though, looking pretty rainy. Possible snow if you're traveling up to northern Ohio, Caitlin.
Yeah, wouldn't it be fun to have some snow on Thanksgiving? I think that'd be kind of magical.
Definitely.
Well, thank you, Nick, for that weather report. Veterans from multiple branches of the armed forces marched down Court Street yesterday to commemorate Veterans Day and the 100th anniversary of Armistice Day. Athens is home to veterans who served our country. Among these is Carolyn Cade, who served as an Army nurse during the Vietnam War. Cade says she reflects on her time spent in the hospitals, especially on Veterans Day.
I think of the people that I took care of in Vietnam at the hospital I was located at. Some of them I wonder where they are now. And, and it was an honor to go and serve with the men in our country. Because there were very few of us. Only 9,000 women served in the Vietnam War.
Veterans Day Parade for 15 years.
Hey everyone, I'm Nick Orsini. 4 teams in Gridiron Glory's coverage made it to Week 12, but only 2 will play for a regional championship this Friday. Plus, Ohio women's basketball kicked off their season with a big victory over UNC Wilmington. The recap from their win and more when Newswatch returns.
This is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
This is what we've all been waiting for. The postseason is finally here. Many teams that made it this far are ready to rock.
Yeah, it's win or go home for the guys on the gridiron, but Gridiron Glory still has a few more weeks before we end our season.
Yeah, we'll have you covered through Week 13, and there's still football to be played until then.
Our social media team will have you covered. Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, and YouTube content will keep you up to date.
So, through all the excitement, remember there's nothing better than Friday nights and Gridiron Glory.
I'm such a huge fan of PBS. For my entire life, it's been our window into a world of the arts that isn't available anywhere else on TV. We learn about our numbers and our letters and singing through music, through the incredible children's programming they have. And then we grow up and we get to see the world of the arts, whether it's ballet or opera or Broadway, and so many other amazing moments that you wouldn't get anywhere else except for PBS.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at WOUB.org. And thank you.
Welcome back. I'm Nick Orsini. So 4 teams in Gridiron Glory's coverage made it to Week 12, but only 2 continue to Week 13. The Tri-Valley Scotty season came to an end with a 13-3 loss to the Wadsworth Grizzlies, and the Waterford Wildcats were knocked out by top seed Lucas 33-14. The 2 teams who advanced are the Sheridan Generals and the Trimble Tomcats. Sheridan took down the Granville Blue Aces 20-7 and advanced to face Eastmoor Academy for the Region 11 championship. And Trimble pitched their 9th shutout of the season and their 6th in a row en route to a 7-0 victory over Harvest Prep. They have a date with top seed Lucas for the Region 27 championship. Led by a career-high 23 points from sophomore Gabby Burris, the Ohio women's basketball team defeated UNC Wilmington 95-72 Sunday afternoon. UNC Wilmington grabbed an early lead, scoring 17 points in the first quarter, but that was short-lived as CeCe Hooks and Burris regained the lead for the Bobcats and never gave it up. Ohio shot 56% from the field. Amani Burke finished with 20 points, Dominique Dosick added 17, and Hooks finished with 16. The Bobcats return to the combo on Thursday at 11 a.m. with a matchup against Binghamton. Sticking to the hardwood, the Ohio men's team returns to action tonight when they host Campbell. The Bobcats are coming off a 97-61 victory over Wilberforce. Campbell is currently 1-1 on the season and are averaging 86 points per game, and they're led by senior guard Chris Clemens, who's averaging 35.5 points per game and 6.5 rebounds. The Bobcats will have their hands full stopping Clemens and that Campbell offense. A tip-off is set for the top of the hour. The Ohio volleyball team concluded their 2018 regular season with a 3-0 defeat to arch rival Miami on Saturday. The Bobcats honored 4 seniors, Jamie Kosorek, Katie Nelson, Stephanie Ullman, and Carly Remmers prior to the match. Up next for the Bobcats, the 2018 Mid-American Conference Championship Tournament. That takes place later this week. Ohio qualifies for the tournament for the 17th year in a row, and they're going to be the number 7 seed and face Northern Illinois. NIU edged Ohio 3-2 on October 20th. The first touch between NIU and Ohio is set for Thursday at 7. The Ohio Bobcats team suffered a major setback with a disappointing loss to rival Miami last week. Despite the loss and the chances for a MAC championship berth all but gone, head coach Frank Solich says his team will be ready for Buffalo on Wednesday.
We've had a couple really good days of practice. I think the attitude of our players and our coaches is very good. We want to win this ball game, and obviously we're excited about the opportunity to play it. They're riding pretty high right now.
Ohio welcomes the MAC-leading Buffalo Bulls to Peden Stadium on Wednesday. Well, I'm Nick Orsini, and that is all I have for sports tonight. Caitlin, back to you.
Thanks, Nick. A little Yorkie in West Virginia is getting a second chance. He was found left for dead on the side of the road in July. Winston was completely blind but has since made a full recovery. The Humane Society took him in and treated him. The community donated money to cover the cost of his eye surgery. And now, after months of hardships and doctor's appointments, he finally has a newly adopted family.
Tomorrow we're going to see possible snow showers in the area. 40 degrees AM mix, PM clouds. Winds will be out of the north-northwest at 5 to 10 miles an hour all across the area. Temperatures will be in the upper 30s and lower 40s. 37 in Columbus, 34 in Newark, 38 in Cambridge, 39 in New Martinsville, 39 in Marietta, 40 in Athens, 40 in Ripley, 39 in Ironton, 40 in Jackson, 38 in Chillicothe. Clouds will be widespread all across the area with some lingering rain and snow showers further east across the area. And as we take a look at the extended forecast, we finally clear you out on Wednesday at 39 degrees, but possible snow showers remain in the forecast on Thursday at 39. Friday, 43 under mostly cloudy skies. Saturday, partly cloudy skies at 46. We're seeing a warm up. Sunday, cooling you back down into the 30s with partly cloudy skies and clearing you out on Monday at 42. Caitlin?
All right. Thanks, Nick. And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Caitlin Coolidge. You can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org. Have a great night.